First rule of the Holy Grail War, Aura Farm.
Fate Stay Night was absolutely amazing. Now, before you guys kill me in the comment section, yes, I know that this is one of the worst adaptations in the series, which is why, one, if this version was this good, then I already know the other series are about to blow my mind. And then two, I plan on doing all the anime adaptations. And I get it, Fate can be difficult for some, but do not be afraid, for Pri is here to help. And you guys know we can't do this video without a twist. Let me introduce you beautiful folks to the delusion counter. Yeah, I'm sure you guys see where this is going. Now we start off with Ren, one of the main characters in the series, summoning a servant. Don't worry, I'm going to explain all of this in a way that dang near anyone can understand. Now Ren is a mage in this universe. Mages are called masters who serve in a war called the Holy Grail War. Think of it like a bunch of mages trying to fight over the Dragon Balls, because the Grail for whoever wins the war will be granted any wish they desire. And remember how I said that Ren is trying to summon a servant? Well, she ends up serving in one that was named Archer. So this is where I need you guys to lock in real quick. Now servants are like Elden Ring summons. There are personal bodyguards that also wish to win the war and have their wish granted from the Holy Grail. Now servants are heroic heroes from either the past or the present, which the present part confuses me because I don't remember seeing anyone from the modern time being summoned. But if this has a connection, please don't ruin it in the comments for me. Or maybe I'm Unk and I need to stay on the grill. So Ren ends up summoning a servant in the Archer class. These classes are similar to Pokemon types, similar to how some are water, some are fire, and some are wind. Once we get to the other servants, I will let you guys know which class they are. Now 10 years ago, before this, Fuyuki City had a huge catastrophe, which was because of the 4th Holy Grail War, which brings us to our main character of this series, Shiro Emiya. And I hope I said that right. He was a victim of the last war and ended up getting adopted by a man named Kirutsugi Emiya. Now you might be thinking, why don't we start with the 4th war? Wouldn't that make more sense? Well, yeah, but sometimes you gotta think about things how you don't want to think about things. But trust me, the Fate series is beautiful, the way all of this ties together. So a girl named Sakura was calling out to him, "Emiya senpai! Emiya senpai!" And don't worry too much about Sakura or Ren right now, we are mostly going to be focused on Shiro. So all around Fuyuki City, gas leaks were happening and things were blowing up.
Breaking news from Why Do I Still Live in This City? Some bozo got blown up at the subway station again, and I'm still not getting paid enough. Thank you, Johnny. Back to you guys.
So Sakura and Shiro all end up heading towards school. And y'all know it's 4 of the worst places to be during the start of anime. At home at night, on a train in Japan, on a road, and finally at a school. Now although Shiro dad is a mage, Shiro on the other hand could never get the full hang of it, like at all. Bro's skills was on par with Clay Thompson when he signed that Megan contract, but he knew a little bit of ball and could use an ability called Trace. Now at first this ability might sound corny, and it indeed is a low level magic ability, but Shiro is like a man that practiced one kick a million times. Right now all Shiro can do is use Trace to fix things or reinforce things. Like for instance, he fixes all the broken equipment at the school. Now Ren ends up showing up.
Coach put me in the game, I'm finna show you how to shoot. My brother say he got Verizon, he got Boost Mobile.
And yes, Sakura, Ren, and Shiro all goes to the same school. And oh, before I forget to mention this lady right here is Kiritsugu, granddaughter, and also the teacher at the high school. And how did Shiro make it to class before her? Nah. Where was she at? So Ren was up on the roof of the school, and they're serious. Do I just not know culture, or does every single anime building look exactly like this building? But her and Archer were scouted for another master, or aka a mage, but we would stick to masters, who also has a servant and wants to win the Holy Grail War. Now there are certain rules to this war. The main 2 are 1, no fighting in daylight, and 2, no one outside of the Holy Grail War should ever see the servants or witness a fight from the Grail War. Any witnesses must be eliminated. So not only are gas leaks happening in the city, but also a person is going around murdering people. Now Shiro has got all this motivation from his father and wanted to take his father's dreams and save everyone. Well, since you're our Unk, I will continue your dream and become a hero and save everyone. And after watching Fate Zero, it is just so poetic. So nighttime hits, and of course Shiro is heading home and sees a little girl. Oh no, baby. If I'm walking and I see a little girl under the street light, I'm for sure booking it the other way. So she walks past him and tells him he better summon someone or he's about to meet the big woo. Then she just disappears. When I first watched this, in my head, I was thinking she was a ghost. And why are ghosts always trying to farm aura? So Ren and Archer were on straight bad timing, searching around for the op. And I swear it's something about the drip that just hits. I might have to add a drip counter at some point. Now Ren has been a trained mage since she was little. She's a part of one of the big three mage families. It goes Tosaka, the Ironsbirds, and the Mato family. I probably said that last one all wrong. I'm sorry. Now, right now, all we know is the family that Ren is a part of. All families are proficient in different types of magic. For Ren, her family excels in jewel magecraft and has amazing mana control. Hence, why she was able to summon Archer. Now, the Grail actually chooses the masters who could participate in the Holy Grail War. Now, the three big families are not the only ones who could use magic, but they are the most known and worthy usually. So the sunset comes around and everyone is leaving the school, and this man named Shinji asks Shiro for a favor.
Yeah, dude, the dojo's like totally trashed. And dude, I would do it, but you know, I got the ladies with me and they can't see a king like me doing that. Anyways, you don't mind doing that, do you, dude?
This is crazy.
Then we hear the worst thing known to man, a group of girls laughing at a dude flexing on you. Oh no, see the way I operate, I would have blew the whole school up, including Fuyuki. Everybody is dying, me included.
I ain't going to jail.
So night 2 comes and Ren is sitting here farming clips, and then another server shows up. Now this is the Lancer class, and look how he's sitting here looking clean. He for sure has one of the cleanest fits. For me, it's 2 others, and then I got Archer up there, and then Lancer. So Lancer immediately sees through Archer's spiritual form, which all the servants could go into hiding during the day and still stay next to their master. So Lancer and Archer waste no time going at each other, and guess who was still at the school? So he goes to check out the noise and sees the 2 of them going at it, and ends up alerting Lancer, who immediately starts hogging him down. So Shiro started running for his life and hit the white girl fall. I'm like, keep running, dog. Why did you stop? Then Lancer pops right up on him and wasted no time packing Shiro up. So Ren comes, but it's way too late. So she decides to heal him because, well, we don't know right now just yet. But I promise, stick with the series with me and it would all come together. I'm sure the season Fate fans know why. So Shiro ends up heading home, and this is the thing. Lancer knows that he isn't dead yet. I mean, look how devious this man is looking. He instantly walked down on Shiro. He's like, we're gonna have to come over your house and kill you. No 2 ways about it. So Lev starts pressuring him with combos, then hits him in the side, sending him flying through the doors. Then Spartan throws his spear, and Shiro gets out the way just in time. So Shiro starts running as fast as he can, but Lancer catches up to him, giving him a mean kick, then sending him flying to the 2nd floor of the building. Nah, if you're in air like these, you might as well give it up. So Lance goes in for the kill. 1, 2, 3 combos into a parry. He goes flying into the storeroom. It's looking all bad. Lance flexing his drip. Shiro is back into a corner, and before all is lost, the Grail finally chooses him as a master, and in comes the queen herself, Saber. I mean, look at how clean she is, the elegance, the drip. That meant Shiro fell in love instantly. Quick little note, when I say Lancer and Saber, I'm referring to their classes, not their names. Although we would still be calling them by their classes. The reason is because if another heroic servant knows their name, they can figure out their most powerful ability. These are called noble phantasms. Just think of it as a servant big special attack. So Saber wasted no time throwing down with Lancer. They were going bam for bam with each other, and hold up, pause. Is Saber using an invisible sword? What type of peek does she have going on? So Lancer started trying to rage bait her to reveal her weapon, but Saber all about her business, swinging away and even pushing Lancer back. So Lancer kicks it up a notch and uses his noble phantasm and pierces through Saber's armor, who had barely just got it out the way. But Lancer Master ends up forcing him to come back. So Saber has the ability to heal exposed wounds, and now that I think of it, can all the classes do this, or is it just Saber? But Shiro, if he were actually a full mage, he would be able to heal her all the way, but he can't. But none of that matters to Saber at all, and she charges off to fight again. Like, dang, enjoy some beans and bread with me and Cincy or something. But Saber literally one-taps Archer, and I'm not gonna lie, they did my boy Archer wrong in this series. series. So finally Rin reveals herself to Shiru, and then they finally get Saber to stop acting like King Von. So Rin starts explaining the war and that the stigma that appeared on his hand, these are called command seals, and they get 3 of them to make the servants do anything they need them to do. Once all 3 seals are gone, they are no longer considered masters. Also, if a master is killed, the servants would cease to exist because masters provide powers to the servants. This allows them to stay in the modern world, or if a servant is defeated, they go back to their timeline, and then either the master has to go to withdraw from the war, or go into hiding, or go to the church for safekeeping. But you guys just wait until we get to the other series, because things get so slimy. So Rin tells Shiru that she's going to take him to the man that oversees the entire Holy Grail War. And this man, you guys just wait until I make a video on Fate Zero, because I have got some words for this man. So Kirei goes into more details about the Holy Grail War, and that there are 7 servants and 7 masters doing an all-out war between each other to obtain the Grail. Now because Shiru magic is so bad, Saber can't take spirit form, so she always has to be materialized, unlike how Archer, who was invisible. So Shiru asks why don't they all just work together and share the Grail War. Oh my dear delusional child, see, that's not how this works. The servants are the key to this all. The Grail actually can't even be touched by humans because it's actually in spirit form. So only the servants can actually touch it, and then the Grail will only show itself when one of the servants remain. Then the Grail will appear and grant the wish of both the servant and the master because they are one and the same. But the thing is, the easiest way to deal with the servant is to directly kill the master. The servants are way more powerful. So finally Shiro ends up accepting to become a master because he does not want what happened 10 years ago to ever happen in the city again. So then the ghost girl pulls up on them with her servant, and look at this 8-foot tall, pure muscular man. This is the Berserker class, and this class is exactly as the name suggests. So Ilya says to them, oh, don't worry, because you will all be dead. So Saber wasted no time running in the fight again. So Saber is over here dodging everything, running up the light pole, even running on a power line. But Berserker was not letting up on her, chases her down, so Saber goes right for Ilya. But Berserker ends up hitting Saber into the wall. Now Saber at this point in time is not fighting at her full ability, still injured from the attack from Lancer. Rin tries to jump in, but her attacks do nothing, and then Ilya reveals that this is the Greek word Hercules. So Saber ends up taking a huge blow, and you know what this man Shiro does? He runs in front of Saber and throws her out the way.
Fatality.
Oh my goodness, are we serious right now? Yeah, start up that delusion counter. Matter of fact, add an extra 100 points. You know full and well that if the masters die, then Saber will go away. Plus, didn't you just die not too long ago? Yeah, add another 100. That's just 3 dumb things in one sitting. Luckily, we don't have to cut the story short, and he wakes up back at his house with his wounds fixed up. And Rin said that his body must have found a way to heal itself, similar to how Saber does. So Rin tells him, like, brother, you do know this is dumb. Like, if you die, Saber will die too. This man responds with,
I just don't want a repeat of what happened 10 years ago.
so how are you going to stop that if you're already dead, Shiru? So Rin ends up telling Shiru that the only way that Saber can replenish her mana is by consuming the souls of other humans, which of course Shiru automatically did not want anything to do with it. But Rin was really trying to tell him that this is a war, and when it's war, all bets are off. And just because he won't do it doesn't mean that another master won't do it. But Saber ends up sleeping to recover most of her strength back. How did she do this? Well, she's Saber, of course, so we would look the other way. And with this, Shiru and her connection started to grow stronger. This allows them to sense when each other is in distress or in danger. I mean, this man can't even focus without thinking about Saber. This is peak level of delusion. So he brings Saber into the room, just popping out with a random girl one day in the house. So he tries to play it off like she's a distant relative. Now the following day, Shiru goes back to school, and he can now sense that a person has put up a barrier around it. And we see a servant in the shadows watching, and Rin and him walk into each other again. And last night she had told Archer that if she sees him again, this time she has to kill him, because that's how the Holy Grail world goes. So he tries to say hi to her, and she walks right past him. Now keep in mind, since Saber can't go into spiritual form, she can't always be by his side. Dawn hits, and Rin and him are alone in school, and she starts telling him, you thought I wouldn't catch you lacking? How delusional can you be walking around so carefree without a servant? Looks like I should be the one to kill you. And then she starts blasting at him as he starts to run away. But their fight gets cut short, and they hear a girl scream. They go to check it out, and Rin says that a servant had tried to drain her life force out. So she tries to heal the girl, and she's like, I can't concentrate, so I need you to go over there and close the door for me. I don't know what the tweak this door has to do with anything. People be getting mad over anything. So he goes over there to close the door and literally gets shot right in the arm. But you know what he does? He goes outside the door and tries to find the person that just attacked him. Are we serious right now? Add that to the delusion counter. And didn't Saber tell you to summon her when you were in trouble? So this man goes all the way out to the forest and then sees a glimpse of Shinji. So change starts to manifest. This man almost gets his neck cut off, which leads us to the next servant named Ryder. So he starts to get a flashback of Saber telling him to use the command cells if he's in trouble. This man says, no, I won't bring her into this. How far gone are you, my brother? The Snow Buddy mind control is absolutely out of control. So she starts ragdolling this man, even had that boy up in the trees. So Ren finally comes and helps him out. So once again, his injuries are fully healed. But keep these healing properties in mind because they are important to the plot. Now they both figure out that the barriers that were being placed around the school are actually plots to sacrifice every single student inside the school. So him and Ren come up with a plan to take out the other master. So right now they have a ceasefire with each other. So he starts telling her about his abilities. And she's like, yo, stop being so friendly with me because we are still enemies. And now we have to add that to the delusion counter. So finally, she ends up showing him Archer, and Archer is staring this man down to his soul. I can already tell that he does not like him. And then listen to what this man says.
Listen, if you want to fight me, I'll take you anytime. You got that?
You are really letting Saber get to your head, man. You have to relax. Add to the delusion counter. So Archer starts questioning his morals and his ethic and his ideology because basically it's just stupid to him because he's basically a kid in war right now that he does not fully understand what's going on. So Archer just starts baking him and cooking him and was trying to give him a reality check. By the way, I've only started Unlimited Blade Works when I started this script. So do I learn Archer's name in that? Because Archer said he doesn't know his name at the beginning, but don't ruin it for me. I just want to know, do I learn that? So his homie figures out that he's been hanging out with Ren. He's like, man, you have to stop hanging around that girl. And I just wanted to add this little bit in here. So Shiru and Sakura end up seeing each other on the steps. You know that little anime stuff where she started running away? It's just so funny to me. Look how she started dipping down the steps. So they still don't know about Shinji being one of the masters, but obviously we do. So they go around disabling all the barriers around the school. Ren ends up telling him to go straight home. And y'all know what he does? He senses another master and goes to explore and ends up meeting with Shinji and Ryder. And now he's cooked. Add to the delusion total. But Shinji just wanted to talk to him and wanted to form an alliance. He ends up telling him that it must be a fourth master in school that they don't know about, and that in the Ryudu Temple, a bunch of people have been missing, and Shiru obviously sees that this is a trap to lure out other masters. So finally, Shinji says that the only way they will work together is if he goes and kills Ren. So that's where negotiations end. Later, him and Saber end up getting into a little argument because she wants to go up there and actually take care of the other servant. But he doesn't want her to get hurt at all, and she's like, man, I cannot be serving a master that is afraid of my safety when the whole point of this is for me to protect you. But Saber ends up going later that night anyways on her own. She ends up coming face to face with the servant in the assassin's class. So they start going at it, Saber rushing in first, their swords clashing and swinging right and left. So this makes Shiro wake up because he could tell that she's in trouble. He goes to look into her room and she's not even in there. So he already knows where she went. So Saber gets blasted back and hits a little flip and gets right back into it. He was low-key moving real clean on her, had his eyes closed and everything. So the assassin goes in, uses Noble Phantasm as she barely gets out the way once again. But while this was all going on, this was a distraction for the other servant Ryder. So Saber starts charging up her attack, but before she could release it and flex on everybody, the assassin backed up and told her, save your swing, because somebody's spying on you right now, but if you cross this temple's gate, I will have to fight. But my master has ordered me specific instructions. With that, Saber passes out because she does not have enough mana. So eventually Saber ends up training Shiru in the sword combat so he's not too worthless. And they do this for a couple days. And then Elia pops up on him, and I'm pretty sure she's a part of one of the big three families, and this little girl is crazy. I'm not even gonna lie. She's like, please hang out with me. Like, no? Were you just not trying to kill us a couple days earlier? Yeah, add that to the delusion counter. This little girl right here, her delusion might be on par with Shiro. So they give us a little backstory of her and how she was always locked up inside of the castle. And yes, once again, I finished Fate Zero, so you guys know if you know, but let's save it for the next video. For the people that don't know, I swear this series is so beautiful. So eventually he ends up managing to open his magic circuits, which are basically that what gives him the ability to use magic. Think of it like Chakra and Naruto. If these points are closed off, then they are basically just as vulnerable as humans in this universe. So Archer pulls up on him at night and starts congratulating him, but still hating on him at the same time. And I know there has to be some connection because no other servant is just popping up on him consistently and keep telling him he's just a dummy. So he starts doing more training with his reinforcement ability to strengthen it with Ren. So Shinji ends up calling him and telling him that he better come to the school very, very quickly. So he gets tricked and goes to the school and sees all the classmates laid out. Now Shinji was actually trying to put them against each other, and it ended up backfiring because they did not betray each other. So now he has plans to kill Shiro. So Ryder comes in and starts swinging at him and hits him in the arm again, and then the other arm, and then the leg, and then the side, and then he gets down on the ground. So she goes to finish him off, and one of her blades breaks, and I'm pretty sure he used reinforcement right here. And then he gets a heavy kick to the gut and kicked out the window. So his life starts flashing before his eyes, and he finally summons Saber. She comes in real smooth, hitting a little two-spin. Nah, Saber, you know good and well you ain't have to do all this. So they locked in, Saber throwing him out the way, and they clash together. And alright now, Ryder, I see the gymnastics right there. So Shinji's not the fighting type, he's really a dummy and a coward, and starts running away from Shiro. Ryder had chained up Saber's hands, but this is Saber we are talking about. She speed blitz Ryder, clashes 1 all the way up into the air, clash 2, hitting each other with combos and swinging inside the small corridors. So Shiro catches him and pins him against the wall, and he ends up forcing him to make Ryder shut down the barrier. And he's like, hey, give up the command seals and I'll let you go. So Ryder zooms past and ends up saving him. So Ryder stabs herself in the neck to release her noble phantasm, and this is just part 1 of it. It levels out the entire 4th floor of the school, and we start getting more flashbacks of Shiro's childhood when he was found inside the rubble of what happened 10 years ago. So Saber and him end up going to the park, you know, doing little couple-ish type things. And yeah, I understand that people didn't like that he fell in love with Saber, but like, it wasn't that bad at all to me. So they look over, they see a couple sitting on the bench, and Shiro was acting all scared and stuff, and Saber was like, yo, just rest your head on me. You see, if it was me, I would have laid right on her. And why did they stay here that long? It is dark time now. So they end up running into Ryder, who was waiting for round 2, and of course, once again, Saber goes right in and they box on the side of the building. That's so clean right there. But Ryder gets a clean kickoff on her, but Saber luckily recovers just in time. So he's using the elevator and everything and starts running up the roof. And look at this little sneaky girl in the back. But this comes full circle because something happens here that's absolutely insane. So Ryder ends up bringing out her Noble Phantasm right on her Pegasus, and Saber hits her with the AoE attack. So then Ryder starts charging at Saber again. Shiro finally makes it to the roof, and I am sick of this man. He starts running towards Saber to make her get down, but she does a little and starts charging up her attack, expelling all her mana, and Ryder ends up charging up her attack too. So finally we see Saber's Noble Phantasm. She pulls out this sleek, elegant golden sword, and yes, you guys know it is the one and only Excalibur, and she blows the whole rooftop off and finishes Ryder in one blow. So Shinji ends up running off, and Saber has barely any mana left, her armor coming off once again. I'm not gonna lie, Saber's a ride or die, no cap. So now they're in a huge pickle because Saber has used a lot of her mana, and the only thing she can do is keep herself materialized in the world right now because Shiro still doesn't have enough magical abilities to give her mana. And this is because the next time they fight, what is going to happen, she's not going to be able to prepare for it. Now it's time for a backstory for Saber. Before she was known as Saber, before she drew the blade that decided kingdoms, she was Atoria Pendragon, the one that in this universe is named King Arthur. So yeah, it wasn't some dude in shining armor, it was actually a woman that had to protect a broken Britain. And I rock with that idea so much. Like, Saber is definitely my favorite character in this series. Archer's definitely up there, he's probably 3rd, and then there's another person that we haven't got to yet, but we're going to get to him. So when she pulled the legendary sword Excalibur out of the stone, I guess she was chosen by the gods and she had to erase her humanity, which made her suppress herself and get distant for people. But let's save the full breakdown for Fate Zero. So once again, Shiro and Archer end up having a little dialogue between each other, and Archer's like, Saber already knew that she could have replenished her mana, and she still use her Noble Phantasm, knowing that, so that means that Saber cares about you. Okay, so we need to add plus 500 points to the delusion count because he's about to go to a different level when he heard that. Don't worry, Shiro, I'm the same way. So he's at the park thinking about everything, and then crazy kid Elia comes up to him and she's like, let's play together again. But this time she was on bad timing. So she kidnaps him to her castle and then has the nerves to tell him that he should be grateful because prisoners usually go to the dungeon. So remember how I said keep that one scene in mind? Well, yeah, Elia had caught Shinji lacking, and Berserker and her got him up off the map. Saber ends up waking up, looking all around for him, and she can tell that he's far away, but he's not dead. So they go out looking for him, and Elia ends up leaving the castle. They end up going in, and it's looking way too easy to get in. The whole time, she didn't go anywhere, and she summoned Berserker, and now things are looking rough. So Archer ends up posting up with Berserker, and they're about to thrash down. He summons his blades and cuts off the connection to them, so they can't escape out. So Berserker swings down, Archer moves out the way, getting his drip ripped a little bit. He tries to go straight for the girl, but Berserker gets in the way again, cutting him on the shoulder. It is not looking good for Archer right now, but at least he got unlimited blades to work with. So he's out there squabbling with big fella, barely dodging the blows coming towards him, and look at the air impacts in the frame. So a huge hit comes down on Archer. He tries to parry it and ends up getting slammed into the wall. Oh nah. So Archer starts doing some crazy stuff, transforming his sword into like a bow and arrow. He cocks it back and blows the whole castle down. But that didn't do enough damage to Berserker. So Archer takes the fight to the roof, and before he gets packed out of here, he starts throwing his blades and making them fly, tearing Berserker up, giving them a run for his money. And then he gets winged swords, jumps in the air, flexes on them real quick, and slams down and slices him. But Berserker was still not done, smacking that man right into the wall, and for some reason, this man has a flashback of Shiro. But yeah, that didn't end too well for Archer. He pulls out the No Phantasm and drags him into it, and I'm thinking the battle is about to turn. And this is called Unlimited Blades. Oh, I cannot wait to get to this route. But yeah, long story short, Archer got clapped. He's gone. So there goes Archer. But he did a lot of damage to Berserker, so they couldn't even go after them right away because he had to take a second to heal up. So Rin says she has a plan for them to get Saber's mana back, and she just started to get on some freaky deaky stuff. I don't know what was going on here, but I guess it was part of what they had to do. So it ends up working. She places her mana with Shiro, magic circuits, and yeah, it was kind of weird, but let's continue. Shiro starts to figure out his abilities more, and that he can actually use his imagination to conjure up things. And now that I'm writing this script, I might be crazy, and this might be off the wall, but is this not the same ability that Archer is using? Like, we can't just ignore that, right? Like, did he learn from Archer from seeing this, or am I just crazy? But anyways, I'm pretty sure we will all figure this out later, but I swear that they put these scenes together for a reason. So they post up again, getting ready for another match. So Saber goes in again, slashing and hacking away at Big Fella, getting blasted back, backsliding, and going to one knee again. I don't like how she's always getting beat up a little bit. So Shiro conjures up a bow, fires it, and that did no damage to Berserker. So he gets a flashback of Archer saying, "You should always be at your most powerful." And Saber gets her armor knocked off, and it's looking like Saber is about to get knocked up out of here. But Rin comes in and is actually able to end up killing Berserker. But one thing about Berserker is that Berserker has to be killed 12 times in order to defeat him. No wonder why Archer couldn't kill him. So Saber tries to save Rin and get him up off of her, and this man charges in head first again and gets sent into the air. So Saber sees no other option and charges up her Noble Phantasm, but Shiro ends up using a command seal so she doesn't do it and drain herself. And he ends up creating a replica of her sword and slicing this man's arm off. That man moving clean out here. So he and Saber team up and start going toe to toe with Berserker, using the powerful Excalibur to end the rest of Berserker's life. And by the way, this whole time, Casual has been looking at them and spying. That's the end of Berserker, and they end up taking Ilya. Because at the end of the day, she's just a little girl that got thrown into the Holy Grail War. So we got Archer gone, we got Berserker gone, and we have Rider gone. So Saber ends up telling Shiro that servants actually don't have dreams and that they're connected spiritually. So she's actually seeing one of his memories, and she actually confesses to him that 10 years ago, his father used to be her master. And the cause of the fire was between the battle that her and her father had. And in the end, even though they had won, her father had ordered her to destroy the Holy Grail, and she resented him because of that. And she never understood why he would want to do that, because she wanted her wish to be granted. And right now, we don't know why exactly she wants her wish to be granted, but we will soon figure that out later down the road. So they try to get the drop on Castor's master, but that's not how things worked out, and this whole time it was actually bait. And I know I'm just thrusting this upon you guys, but this is actually one of the teachers at the academy, and for some reason, Shiro thinks that he's being mind controlled, so just adds to that delusion counter, because obviously he hasn't been paying attention to anything during this Holy Grail War. So even though he's human, Castor had actually betrayed her Magus, who was from the Mage Association, and she transferred over her command seals to him. And at first, Shiro is asking like, yo, you do know she's out here taking people's lives halfway. And this man looks at him and says,
"The only issue I have is the way Castor's going about doing it. Instead of taking half their lives, it would be more efficient if she took all of it at once."
Oh no, I don't know if this is delusion or just crazy, but we're gonna add some points to the delusion meter. So Saber goes in to fight, and the roles are reversed. He's basically the servant, and she's basically the master, because he's fighting for her, because obviously Castors are really good close range fighters. It's using her magical abilities to enhance his body. So him and Saber start going at it, and he gets her with a mean gut shot, and it tries to come in and finish her off, and then starts choking her out, and then slammed her to the ground, tossing her right over. Nah, don't say Saber now, dog. Why don't you run in like you did all the other times? This dude is human. You want to run in front of Berserker, you want to run in front of Lancer, you want to run in front of Archer, but the one time there's a human body that's just enhanced, you want to sit there and watch your girl get choked out? Are we serious right now, buddy? And then he speed blitzes Rin and knocks her down. Then he breaks through Shiro's reinforced weapon, but he ends up using Archer's exact same ability Oh heck nah, there has to be something going on with Archer and Shiro, because at first I did not realize this watching it, but now that I'm rewatching it again and talking over it, there has to be some type of connection. Is it dealing with his dad or something? Because there's no reason that we learn every single other servant's name in this, including Castor's, who is Medusa by the way. Yes, the Medusa that turns people into stone. And we don't know anything about Archer. Am I cooking up, guys, or am I crazy? When animes leave room for you to think, I love that. When I go watch Unlimited Blade Works, I hope this stuff gets explained. So him and Shiro start going at it, and these blades are pretty strong because they didn't break this time. So Shiro just slices at them and gets hit with a quick 3-piece, making him back up with the next blow. He tries to go in and slice, but the dude backs up, hits him with the right hook, and they go back and forth. So Castor offers a proposal of a truce with them and another option besides fighting. She says she knows how to call for the Holy Grail without having to kill each other. It says she figured out how the Holy Grail works. So she says that she would sacrifice every single person in the city to use them for their mana, but even this wouldn't be able to keep it working indefinitely. So the key component is that a magus, aka a master, aka magician, would need to be sacrificed. So she's like, well, why don't y'all be the sacrifice? You're going to die anyways. But then they disappear, and guess who's at home? No servant to protect them. Yes, little girl Elia. So Saber has to get home extremely fast, and when she gets there, she sees Sakura on the ground. So Sakura ends up stabbing Saber, and Castor has the ability to take over people's body. And her noble phantasm is to negate all magic, so now Saber can't use her full abilities once again. And Enza Saga are one of the main characters in the Fate series, so I can't wait to see the route and see what happens there. And also, I can't wait to see what they do with Archer since he died in this series. So even though Sakura doesn't have magical talent, she does have magical circuits. It comes from a deep family of magical people. So they go to Castor's lair, and Sakura's in there getting sacrificed. So a whole bunch of Castor's henchmen, you know, the people that have been turned to stone, come out and they take care of them pretty easily. So Assassin shows up out of nowhere. And this hat might sound a little confusing, but Assassin was not summoned in the normal way. See, there's a reason why he's right here. He's actually the gatekeeper, and technically Assassin's master is Cash. Now at first I'm like, wait, a servant and a servant serving each other? Sounds a little complicated, but don't worry. So Castor ended up breaking the rules and created a fake servant using her own magic, which is technically an assassin. And this whole place is called the Rito Temple Gate. And this is the actual place that he's protecting. And she's the one who sustains him with mana. So Saber and Assassin go to finish the fight that they started earlier, as Ren and Shiro end up zooming past. Shiro ends up fighting the teacher, and Ren goes to save Sakura. So Saber and Assassin are going at it, slashing back and forth, looking clean while doing it, talking junk while fighting. He pushes her back again and steps back. He zooms in on her, slicing down. Hold up, analyze this real quick. She steps, swinging a whole bunch, dodges the last blow, and gets low with a whole bunch of swings. Look at that position, and they start scrapping. He goes in for a heavy blow, but she blocks that, but it cuts her. She slices down and it barely grazes him. Meanwhile, Shiro gets distracted and gets 1, 2, 3-piece and sent on the ground. Man, pay attention. Do not ever turn your back on the enemy. So it's just an all-out war. Sakura's getting sacrificed to the Grail, Shiro's getting tossed around, and things are just looking bad all around. But Ren ends up locking in, and actually we get a flashback of them too. And we see that they knew each other when they were younger. Now don't worry, this family tree right here gets explained a lot more in Fate Zero. When I drop Fate Zero video next, it's all going to tie in together. So they are still going at each other, but Shiro is over here getting beat on. So out of nowhere, a whole other servant comes out, and this man has about 1,000 swords. And why is this man aura farming right here? And because Castor had even dared to say that she would have Saber as a slave, this man comes in and says, as the king, she belongs to me. Delusion. Who are you? And he starts just sending a hell strike of swords at them. Ends up taking out the Castor and her master. And then the whole thing starts collapsing, and the men start talking about how this is a terrible place for our reunion, which means that him and Saber have already known each other. So they end up dipping out as the whole place collapses. For some reason, he's a servant that has stuck around since the last Holy Grail War, or so that's what they think for right now. And this man is so broken. This servant, Noble Phantasm, is literally infinite, and all of his swords are the original swords. They're not replicas, like how Shiro's are. No, they're the originals. So this man is a problem. So him and Saber once again get into a discussion. She tells him that all she wants is for her wish to be granted and for her to cease to exist. And he did not want that, because he wants to wish for her to stay here in the world with him. That boy is in love. So he searches out for answers and goes to Kirei to ask for advice, and he tells them, just use your command seals and force her to drink from the Holy Grail and stay here with you. And listen to this dialogue right here. Listen to what Rin responds to with Shiro.
Oh, Shiro, you're starting to sound just like Archer, you know that?
Ren says that maybe he was a knight that was connected to Saber in their previous lives, which would make sense because she was a king, so maybe Shiro, Archer, and Saber have a connection. I mean, knowing fate, they don't use any wasted words. So him and Saber end up going on another date, and they end up arguing again. These dudes are really a couple. Then he's like, fine, do whatever you want if you're gonna do it. And he literally leaves, comes back, and she's still in the same place because she does not know what to do without being commanded to do it. So while they are out, the servant from earlier, who is another Archer class, pops up on them. So even after seeing his power, he ends up running towards them and getting clapped instantly. We cannot be serious right now. Are we serious right now? Delusion. So Saber transforms and tries to go in and fight him again. He transforms into his armor. And look at the overwhelming power. She got sliced through the arm into the neck. And then he pulls out his noble phantasm, and I'm like, oh no, it's wraps. They're cooked. What are they gonna do? So out of all the servant, he doesn't even mind telling him his real name because he truly believes he is the strongest of the strongest. He says, I am the king of kings, the first king, the very first servant who ever existed, Gilgamesh. And I'm like, oh no, man, what are we about to do with this? Come on now. So he pulls out his weapon and Saber gets ready to fight, and they both go in for a blast, and at first they were exactly even. Shockwaves going all around. He's like, oh, let's turn it up more, and overpowers her ability. Oh no, Saber just got clapped too. I haven't seen her this injured in the entire series. So he gets up and conjures up Excalibur and is about to fight him with it. Yeah, delusion. He goes in instantly and gets sliced. Oh my goodness. Delusion. But he gets up again, and I'm not gonna lie, he got that dog in him. So he's like, trace on and focuses deep, pulling out the scabbard. This is the thing that has been healing him this whole time, and this is how he will unlock Saber's full ability. So they both lock in, use both their powers, and blast Gilgamesh back a little bit. And this forces him to actually retreat back. So we get a couple flashbacks of Saber actually lost her battle to save Britain, and I think it was her father. I mean, she said father. I don't know what was going on here. Someone's gonna have to explain this part to me because it was a little confusing, but I'm pretty sure y'all got it in the comments for me. So once again, he's healed up from the scabbard, which has given him the healing abilities from any injury, and ends up going to the church and starts hearing some weird stuff going on. And then he gets stabbed again by Lancer, like delusion. But also, Kirei this whole time was an actual master, and this man had two servants. So Saber goes out looking for him, and she finds him in a church on the ground. So her, Gilgamesh, and Lancer are about to get into a fight again, and they are holding this man as hostage. So Saber had to stand down real quick. So Kirei ends up revealing that he's been working with two servants this whole time, and Lancer was not going for any of that. So the reason why the explosion happened 10 years ago was because of this man, because he was not worthy to touch the Grail. So when he reached out and touched the Grail, that made the whole place explode. So Lancer switches sides because his pride cannot take that. He takes on Gilgamesh, but come on guys, we know how this goes. He got mixed up. So there goes Lancer. But that gave enough time for Saber and Shiro to head out, and ended up healing him enough to keep walking. So he ended up giving the scabbard back to Saber, which was actually in his body, and she ended up going into his body and grabbing it, and now Saber is at her full potential. So now we're on a final showdown with Gilgamesh and Saber, and those two have been waiting for this for 10 years, for this rematch. This whole time, Elia actually had got captured, and she's being used for the sacrificial realm, so the Holy Grail is already open, and this is basically a portal. So his dad and this man have a long history, and he absolutely hates him. So he wants to kill his kid and get the Holy Grail, and Saber and Gilgamesh are going at it. And Gilgamesh ends up using his noble phantasm down on Saber. I mean, he got this girl Saber upside down by her feet. So she kicks him in the face, gets back up on her feet, and they charge in for one final blow. And meanwhile, Shiro was getting swallowed up by the Holy Grail, but they end up locking in very last second, going full power, and Saber started turning the tables on Gilgamesh as she sliced down on him and cut that man Gilgamesh clean in half. And Shiro ends up stabbing Kirei, and I'm not gonna lie, he's the king of kings, because this man literally ended up raising her up very last second. So finally, Saber finally figures out what she needs to do in the world. She ends up using Excalibur to once and for all destroy the Holy Grail, so no more Grail Wars could be done. And with that, she goes back to her timeline, where she actually dies for good. No more servants, no more nothing. And that's the end of Fate Stay Night route. And now it's time for us to go back 10 years later in the next video.